Hello, Damien Cars. I'm Joe Bob 1/2. There are a couple things in your video that I would like to correct you on. As long as I'm getting you right on them. Anyway, I'm going to be going through the video and correcting them as I go. Well, it's going super slow. Anyway, I believe the ship you're talking about, if I'm getting you right, it was a ship that was during World War II, was sent out by Hitler, full of Jews, to all the countries to make sure that, to make sure that no one would take the Jews. He let them leave, and he said, okay, sail around the world, and, if anybody takes you into your country, then, by all means. It was a ploy. He knew that no one would take the Jews, and therefore this would be proof bolstering the fact that no one liked the Jews. I believe that Cuba took 6 members off the ship, and that's it, and all the rest went back to Germany. And it's not that the ship sank. If I'm thinking of the right ship, it's not that the ship sank. It's that they all went off to the gas chambers afterwards. So yeah, they pretty much did all die. But anyway. Okay, next up. Okay, Israel was originally promised as a Jewish state back during World War I for the Jews' support during World War I against Germany and the Ottoman Turks. Basically what the US, or not US, it was UK and France, but primarily the UK rather. What they did is they divided the Ottoman Empire up amongst every ally that they had. Now, mind you, what they did is they promised some areas to multiple people. For example, there's one area in Saudi Arabia that was actually promised to 3 different tribes, or 3 different peoples. So, Israel is one of these places where they promised the Jews, pretty much what's modern-day Israel, for their support in the war, and they also promised the Arabs pretty much all of the Middle East for their support in the war. Anyway, yeah, and it's not that the U.S. after World War II, or the the United Nations or the U.S. gave Israel to I just lost my train of thought. To the Jews. It's that Great Britain basically the Jews warred a campaign against the British. The British then the British then pulled out, and the Jews, or the Israelis, then fought for their independence furiously until the UN finally voted giving their permission for Israel to exist. So it's not like the U.S. said, okay, let's give away the land, let's take the land from these people and give it to the Israelis. The only reason why the battle lines were drawn then is because that's when the UN stepped in later. But anyway. And also the main reason why Israel was... This is a totally unrelated point to what you say, but the other reason why the U.S. voted, or why so many countries voted for Israel, is because they felt bad about not doing anything for the Holocaust. And this really pisses me off when people go around. I'm not blaming this on you. This is just something I need to get out there. Is that people who are Holocaust deniers, why do they deny the Holocaust? Because if once the Holocaust does not exist, there is no real reason why Israel should exist. Because one of the main reasons why Israel exists is because basically the world felt guilty for letting the Jews die. Be slaughtered. Anyway. Also, the areas around that are Palestine now, that are part of Israel, that were originally part of Egypt and Lebanon and Syria and Jordan, not part of Palestine. Palestine was taken from Jordan, Egypt, and Lebanon. And Syria. No, not Lebanon, Syria. But anyway, it was taken from them because they attacked Israel first. Israel fought back and gained the land. Egypt basically said, and basically through treaties, they now own the land because Egypt in, I think it was 1972 or something, said, okay, we'll have back the Sinai, you guys can keep the Gaza Strip. We now know why they wanted us to keep the Gaza Strip. In 1994, Jordan said that Israel could keep the West Bank up to the Jordan River, and the Jordan River would be the dividing point between Israel and Jordan. So, Palestine was originally, most of the Palestinians are nothing more than transplanted Jordanians. That annoys me. Nobody ever remembers that. It's not necessarily that the U.S. supports, at least in this particular issue that happened the other day, it's not necessarily that the U.S. just supports them, open arms. It's that they were against the wording in the draft that was brought to them. It was brought up by Qatar, which hates Israel. It was a very biased draft. And you know what? The four countries that abstained? They abstained for the same damn reason that Israel, or that the U.S. rather, supported Israel. Israel was fighting for independence, and look how that turned out. It's because the Arabs didn't want the Israelis in there, in the region. They didn't want them there. Hell, what do you think the phrase, drive them into the sea, means? One quick thing I want to touch on. Israel, when it originally fought, had no sophisticated military. It was fighting against the sophisticated militaries of the area. 6 of them. And it won against all of them. Why? I don't know. Also, it's not that the Western world just gives everything to Israel. Israel has to pay for it. And if they do anything against them, you know, it took many, many years for the U.S. to even support Israel, to give them any aid. So, basically, in this time, do you think Israel's like, well, we're not getting any support, so we're just going to sit around and do nothing? No, they built up their own damn military. Each time the U.S. or France or anybody gives Israel something, they have to pay for it. And what Israel does then is they take it and they make it better and they manufacture it themselves. Anyway, I gotta get the hell out of here. I gotta go to work in another 15 minutes. So, anyway, this is Joe Bob 1/2, always preaching 2 things: love and peace.